I want my stuff to be things you want to get up close to, and not just because there's something here that, you know, has done a lot of little stuff in it, but even other things like this, or, you know, what's this going on down here? What's that all about? Stuff like that. Even looking at a surface to see, you know, are there marks on it? This is acrylic now, it's all very flat. I paint very thinly. I gave up long ago putting in stuff to make the acrylic look like oil paint. You know, it sticks up. It never looks like oil paint. If you try to make it look like oil paint, you're fighting a losing battle. So I use glazes and very thin. I razor blade things off if they get too welty, and I like a flat surface. But I like brush strokes. Well, the brush strokes are illusionary. In other words, it's a black and something over it. And you'll start to do this, you'll notice there's no real physical depth there. It's all illusion. I'm an illusionist. It seems to me that one of the fun things about being able to paint is a thing that a sculptor doesn't really have, laws of gravity and the real world. I can make things suspended and go through and cut through and do all these funny things that, you know, other people can't do. So I think illusion is great. I'm into that big time.
Again, I just started really resenting the fact that I had committed to this show. I just didn't want to have the damn show. And I bought this house, Hackett House, June of 2007. And if you read the statement, I've kind of been working on it, restoring it, renovating it, painting it, and recently I've gotten into furniture, so I've been buying furniture for it. Really just kind of playing house. And I thought, you know, I don't want to have the show, I just want to play house. And then I thought, well, you better snap out of that real quick, because that just can't happen. I got to have the show, and I got to do the work. So I thought, well, maybe I'll do something about the house, and then that way I can just get it out of my system. The third one I did is this one, Inland. And it got a little more opaque. And for watercolor, I had almost overworked it. I just kept working on it and building up layers, which some of them, you know, I was able to keep the transparency, but it got a little too heavy for me. So I thought, well, now here's a third kind of style. So that's not quite there, but I'm going to do a fourth one and see what happens. So the fourth one was this porch, the front porch, which was the imitation piece. And it all gelled. Keep the spontaneity in that one, or the way I wanted it. Some of the white paper shows the color is intense, but it's much more transparent and more like a watercolor, in my opinion. So once I did that, I thought, okay, I'm off to the races.
I suppose, like Jim, you know, I want there to be enough of a visual pull from across the room to make you want to go and inspect a piece more closely. And then when you're there, I want you really to see through those layers of information, so that in a way you can make those comparisons from one object to the next. I think you know, you can have objects side by side as a comparative thing, and you can have layers. As a printmaker, especially as a lithographer, you know, you build an image by individual colors stacking up on each other. So that, you know, you make the yellow as a separate drawing and print that, and then you make the red plate as a separate drawing and print that, and all the colors are made and printed separately, and they all stack up to form a kind of cohesive image. And when I started making these mixed media works, I kind of wanted to approach them in the same way, of this layering of information. But it occurred to me that the layers don't necessarily have to be aligned or connected, visually or conceptually. And that, the conceptual power of a piece can go into the work as well as, from side to side. So there's a lot of information there in layers, and that's what I want the viewer to discover when they get a little bit closer to a piece.